Welcome, everybody, to our very new and awesome podcast, All Things HTLT from Holy Trinity Life Teen. I am your host, Jace Bravo, and I am also the youth minister here at Holy Trinity Church. We are excited to unroll this brand new and amazing podcast just for you. In this podcast, we'll be talking about all things HTLT, from the funniest moments to the best pranks to the deepest prayer times to learning about our rich Catholic faith and so much more. We look forward to being joined by multiple core members and multiple personalities. I am stoked for you to join us on this journey. Please share with your best friend or your worst enemies because everyone is going to want to tune in to listen as well as watch us on YouTube. Today, on our very first episode of All Things HTLT, we have three awesome casters who are also core members here coming in from all over San Pedro. This first episode, we are going to be talking about exactly what our podcast is, All Things HTLT. I'm going to let them introduce themselves a little bit, as well as give them time to give them a bit, talk about who they are. And it wouldn't be Holy Trinity Life Teen if I didn't ask a bizarre question. And that question is going to be, what is your most embarrassing moment or story? And so we are going to start it off over with Jenna Osborne, one of our newest core members. Jenna, take it away.
All right. Hi, guys. I'm Jenna. I am 19. I'm a Mary Star High School alumni. I'm a sophomore in college. And
Wait, what college?
El Camino College. I'm an ECC warrior. Represent. You know me. Most embarrassing story. I have two. One's really TMI, and the other one's like kind of funny. I'll tell the TMI one.
Yes.
So we were on our 8th grade like class field trip, like thingamabobby, to medieval times in Anaheim. And I was sitting next to my then crush at the time, and everything was going fine. Everything was going smoothly, and like we were getting up off the bus.
Can you tell us?
So his name was we won't say last names. So I was sitting next to him, and we were getting up off the bus, and my friends were sitting in front of me, and I was walking. They're like, oh, like, Jenna, like, your shorts. And I'm like, what about my shorts? And they're like, you bled through. And I'm like, no, I didn't. Like, I'm on my period. Like, no. And so then we went to the bathroom. We fixed everything. This is the worst part, though. I told my teacher, and she's like, well, you got to deal with it. Like, I don't know what you want me to do about it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And yeah, I ended up crying a little bit. Then I went to go watch Medieval Times and have my lunch.
Jenna, that is probably the most embarrassing thing
and
deep for a very first episode.
Hey, you got to dive right in, you know?
It didn't help the food at Medieval Times isn't good.
Yeah, no, it was bad.
You know, it's just girl stuff.
Just girly things.
We are not sponsored by Medieval Times. So, all right, that was amazing. Kevin, over right next to her, lead us in.
All right. What's up? My name's Kevin Costa. I also graduated from Mary Star, and I am on the football team at El Camino. And an embarrassing story about me is I think I was in either 5th or 6th grade, and I was playing basketball for Holy Trinity, and we were at practice, and our coach, he just wasn't like, he always got mad at us for every little thing. And we were doing like a drill, just like a team drill. And this one player kept like just holding onto the ball, hogging the ball, like not passing it, just shooting it, laying it up himself. And our coach was getting so mad. And he was like, you know, there's no I in team. How do Kevin, how do you spell team? And like, just like, as soon as I could, I was like, TAME, team. Oh. And then I was like, oh, like proud, like, oh yeah, like I did it. And then like everyone looked at me like, what did you just do? Like, you spelled team wrong. And I was like, no, I didn't. Like, I was so confident I spelled it right. And then we ended up having to run because he thought I was like messing with him.
That is such a big face palm right there. Oh. Golly, these
like,
embarrassing stories.
It wouldn't have been embarrassing, but like the older kids were like the court over from us practicing, and they stopped and were like, turned and looked at me like, how did you spell team wrong?
Oh, that is just painful. These are painful, embarrassing stories. Golly. All right, to our veteran Kurrin. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Kurrin. I am 24 years old. I went to Mary Star High School, went to Marymount California University, and graduated with a business degree. And I just recently graduated from trucking school. So I have my CDL.
Congrats.
Thank you. And embarrassing story, I guess it's probably the most embarrassing, but most like influential. So in third grade, I was reading. So we had a substitute teacher, and I wasn't the best reader, out loud
Same.
reader.
Same.
I struggled with it so hard. And so all my teachers kind of knew, but we had a substitute that day, and we were reading, like in science, the science book.
The
And
worst
so
book to read.
Hard words, third grade. And I like messed up. And the teacher said, like, can we have another student read that can actually read?
Oh.
And my mom was so mad. She went to the school and like said, you know, what she had to say. But
Get
that
Lisa.
is why I'm like the most, I guess, insecure about reading in public. But, you know, you just learn. And that's probably the most embarrassing but influential story.
And you have read since?
Yeah, like out loud, yes.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Because I don't know if I would have.
Yes, in high school and college, you have to. I was
Oh.
only in third grade, so
Oh, you got time then.
you had to
That's
practice.
awesome. You guys are awesome. So again, who we have for this podcast, we have Kurrin, Kevin, and Jenna. And they're going to be joining us talking about all things HTLT. And I have a litter of questions that I'm going to be asking them. But the first kind of, just to get the feeler, since they're encore and they're no longer teens in the program, I wanted to see, what was your first impression of like HTLT, like whether you were a teen or coming from kind of wherever you were coming from? What was your first impression from hearing about it, as well as kind of when did you go on a retreat and why did you go on that retreat? So who wants to start us off?
I'll go first. When I was little, I'd always go to mass with my family, but then my sister joined, like she got into high school and then did Life Teen confirmation. And I was like, oh, I like this mass a lot better because just it's a lot more happy and upbringing, like uplifting, like how you're feeling.
People are
and
doing the
stuff.
Jesus clap and everything.
No Jesus claps.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. For sure. Yes, Lord.
And so I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I started altar serving, and then I was like if I had to go to mass in the morning, I'd be like, oh, I want to go at night too. So I would do that. And then I got into high school, and Jace was our youth minister, but he wasn't my sister's. And I was like, oh, who is this guy? Like, he's very like joyful, and
He always says God is good.
yeah. And then, so I was like, oh yeah, he's pretty cool. And then my first retreat was my freshman year, I think in the springtime. And I didn't really want to go on it.
Typical
teen. But yeah, I didn't really want to go on it, but I was like, oh yeah, like I'll do it because like my friends are going. And then I had a really good time. It's probably one of my favorite retreats I've ever been on. Yeah.
Nice.
I'll go next because I know mine. I went to public school like all throughout like preschool and elementary. So first time I heard about Holy Trinity was like coming here, and I did not want to go to Holy Trinity at all.
Why?
Because I was like, oh, like uniforms, like, because I was so used to wearing normal clothes, and then they're like, oh yeah, you have to wear uniforms now, and I knew nobody here, and I was like, oh, like this is my first impression. I was like, oh, these like Catholic school kids in uniforms are gonna judge me so much, like they're not gonna like me. And I just remember staying in class, I was like, oh my gosh, like everyone's just so weird and doesn't like me. But yeah, first.
So you were judging them, is what you're.
I mean,
So yeah, you're judging us on our uniforms.
I mean, just like a little.
Hey, but
bit.
uniforms, you never have to worry about what you're gonna wear.
I mean,
I
that's
miss
true.
uniforms.
That's true. No, so yeah, I came here and then like Life Teen, like HTLT. So when I went to high school and I came on the fall retreat, Glory Revealed, Kurrin was my small group leader. That was my first retreat. And I just remember coming in and I was like, oh my gosh, these people are so happy. Why are they happy all the time? Why are they like this? And I was so overwhelmed. I was like, oh my gosh, like, why am I here? But then like Kurrin made it better because like I like kind of knew Kurrin already because like my brother was in her graduating class. So I was like, oh, like I've seen her before, like familiar face. So it was easy adjusting since I like kind of knew someone. And then after that, I was like, oh, okay, I want to start coming back. I like these people. They go with my vibe.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I know. Everybody kind of has similar stories of kind of like that first retreat. They're so scared and
everyone's so like, bam, like in your face.
Let's not talk about what happens on the retreat, but I think it's that first portion, you know, when you get off
when
the
you
bus.
get there and you see everyone.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's kind of like, okay. I think we have pictures of that. Oh my gosh. It's crazy.
It's very
Kurrin,
shocking.
you have a little bit of a different story, don't you?
Yes. So I somehow got out of going on a retreat in high school. I wasn't involved in Life Teen. We kind of had, I think we had 2 different youth ministers at the time. So it was easy for my class to kind of fall through the cracks and not know, like if we needed to go on retreat or what requirements we needed. So I took the out. I didn't want to do it. I was over it. I went to Catholic school my whole life. So I saw the opportunity. I ran with it. And then I got introduced to Jace from one of my really good friends, Christina. And
Shout out to Christina.
Yeah, Christina DeLuca. And she introduced Jace and I, and ever since I like couldn't say no to Jace. So
nobody can say no to me.
I went on my
no to
first
him a lot.
retreat, Glory Revealed, the same one that Jenna is talking about. And I was a leader, but it was my first retreat ever. So
What was your feeling? What's your thoughts on that? Do you remember? That was a long time ago.
it was a long time ago. It was like 5 years ago.
5 years, yeah.
I remember not kind of understanding what was going on because I didn't know like the layout. It was weird because I helped plan it, but I didn't know what was going to go on. So it was kind of interesting because like I was the leader, but I also was experiencing it the same time as you guys were experiencing it. So it was kind of unique. I remember my first, probably, I can't say, but like my first adoration was a little bit different because I'm seeing like teens dive in, but I was equally experiencing it for the first time and diving in. So, yeah.
And you had a bunch of like not old, but more experienced core members too. That like from David, Myra. Who were, was Teresa J on yours?
Yeah.
Jace doesn't want to say old because that's all of his friends.
Oh my gosh, it's the Grays, isn't it? It's the Grays.
No, so I remember working on, I think I was on AMEs with David and Eric.
Man.
And so I had them. I was behind the computer with Myra.
Oh,
She
man.
taught me how to do the slides and everything for the first time. Teresa was helping me, and Stacy was my partner in my cabin. So she was like the leader, and then I was the one that was. She was kind of like teaching me what.
This was Gilmore for everybody that's out there. So this is in the new camp that we kind of go to. So Gilmore had our own little private cabins, which were so good. I love those. But
Those are the best.
yeah.
Those were nice.
So talking about retreats, I kind of want to hear what is you can choose. I'm going to give you kind of like 2 questions that you can kind of choose from, and they're polar opposites. So what is either the best retreat moment that you've ever had, or what has been the most disastrous, maybe the oh no, something is going wrong, or kind of moment. You can go. I mean, you can choose. I know we have transportation stories. I know we have.
Can we do both?
You can do both if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, it's whatever you guys want. So, yeah, whoever wants to take it away.
Oh my gosh, I can't even think of any.
The best moment?
I can't.
I have my 2.
You have your 2. Go.
Yeah.
Take it away.
So I'll go with worst first. It's when the buses didn't go to the correct Holy Trinity.
Oh,
That one was like terrible.
I think they
went to like Inglewood or
yeah,
somewhere.
Compton. I think they
Yeah.
called me and said we're here, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, so that like delayed us probably an hour, and it was,
Was this with the other parish that St. Madeline?
I believe so.
So
So it was even more
yes.
stressful.
Oh, I
That
remember
was the
that.
worst.
We were up there, I think, for like 2 hours with this parish that we hardly knew, and everything. Well, I was trying to keep them entertained, and I didn't know any of them, keeping them entertained for 2 hours. I was like, play basketball, or,
It was so
Yeah.
bad down here in the parish center.
I don't even remember that.
It was so bad.
I remember going on the retreat. Oh, I didn't go up that day. That's
didn't
why.
go
I think you had
Yeah.
like baseball or
I had
something.
baseball, and so I came up on
Yeah.
the Saturday.
But I think
one of
I
those.
was down here, and it was like Sarah and I were like the people in charge down here, and Mike. I remember Mike like stressing out, and we were all just trying to figure out what to do because we had to entertain down here too.
Yeah.
So it was just
And
like,
that was a big retreat.
It was
like,
a lot of
like,
us down here.
Put aside the other parish.
I think we had 130.
Us,
100
we had
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's probably the worst experience for me.
Wow.
Maybe.
What did you guys do while you were here?
I think we just played a game.
Oh,
I don't
over and
know.
over again.
We sat down for most
Yeah.
of the time though because we were sitting down. I remember we were playing a game and everyone was like so not into it. They're like, you know what, whatever. Like we're just
Yeah.
gonna sit down and relax.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being up there and just kind of calling the bus company and then being like, yeah, we're waiting in Compton. And I'm like, what?
Oh my god.
Because we usually get we're here, and then you're questioning where they are because they usually go to the school. So then you're running around the whole Holy Trinity looking for the buses, and then they weren't here, and we're like, okay,
Ugh.
where are we?
That is bad.
So that's probably the worst. Now thinking about it, I have two good ones. My first one was a prank on Jace. And it was when Mike told the people at Gilmore to say that we got kicked out or we didn't schedule it or whatnot. And the people totally went along with it. And Jace's face was like pure, just like sadness and panic.
I want to tell you guys, though,
the
I wish I
best
was there. I
moment.
wish I was there.
we are running on so little sleep because we used to set the retreat up, the Thursday, and be there until 3 or 4 and then come back. And then wake up early, get ready, it's like, and so for them to do something like that.
It was amazing because like David was in on it, Mike was in on it, I think Myra was there too, and we were just all cracking up. And you're just like, whoa, he's gonna flip, like he's gonna flip right now if nobody says.
And I'm
like,
gullible.
It's fake. So that's probably one of my like favorite moments. My second one is at LTLC with my second group. So it was mainly Kevin and Pierce. We had amazing singers on that retreat, and they started singing what song is it now? I'm blanking on it.
Is it Good Father? No.
No.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's like, You're So Good. It's
You are good.
Yeah, that one.
it's that one. I don't know the.
Somebody's gonna know it and put it in
The
the
King of
comments
My
section.
Heart?
Is it King of My Heart?
It's a King
I
of
think
My
so.
Heart.
I think so.
Yeah, it is.
It might
believe
be.
it.
is.
And at one moment, they had all of the females stand up and pray over the males. So we were praying over them. But the fact that the males stood up and were so vulnerable and prayed over us, saying that about us, like still gives me chills. It was probably one of my favorite moments, if not my favorite
There was
moment.
literally not a dry eye.
Yeah.
Like I forgot about that.
So powerful. I still remember because everybody kind of asked me like, what's your favorite moment? That's hands down.
Yeah,
like my
that
favorite
was, that was
moment.
Because like Mark Hart was like yelling
Yeah.
like all this stuff
And like you could actually
you feel it.
feel
Yeah.
like, you're building this bond for 7 days, and it's only, the 5 teens that we get to take.
I think
and
that was
you're
like
just
day
like-
3 though. Like,
Yeah.
it was
It was fast.
early. Yeah. Oh
But-
man, I remember that, and I remember when they said it, and I was kind of like, oh, this is gonna be awkward. It was literally like so. I mean, you could hear like when Mark Hart kind of gets in. For those that don't know Mark Hart is the VP of Life Teen, and he is like one of my favorite speakers. But when he gets in the moment, I mean, it's like emotional, you know. It's like, so when he kind of got up there, same thing. So I agree. That was an amazing moment.
That's a good one, Kurrin.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I have to say though, the moment. Do you remember after when they got me with that prank or whatever? What happened to the buses?
The bus. Oh, they got
They
off
got
the ledge.
stuck on
yeah.
the ledge.
I was on the bus. I got stuck.
So you better believe when they came up to me and said, "Hey, your bus is stuck on a ledge." I'm like, "Ha ha ha!" You know, I'm like not believing in them, and they're like, "No, like we're dead serious. Like we're not joking." I was like, whatever, you know.
I was
So then
on
they're like,
that.
"Get in," and so we went to the bus. And long story short, the bus was
That was
literally
bad.
stuck. We had to get everybody off the bus in this wooded area, march them with all their bags and everything,
Yeah.
and then the bus driver.
How have I never heard that story?
Oh man,
Never-
No.
ask me
my
another
gosh.
time. I'll tell you the whole story.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a
just
good one.
It was
insane.
bad.
But this was after they told me, you know, and I'm like, whatever. So, how are you guys?
Funny.
What was it? Your favorite and
Favorite and maybe like it's up to you if you want to do, but like
Worst.
most disastrous.
disastrous. I think the most disastrous was probably my first retreat as a pre-Corps leader, and I was in charge of AMEs. And that AME that weekend, like all of them were just really disgusting. But we did this one statue in the park,
Oh.
and like we used silly string to like represent spray paint, and we like didn't really put tarps down on the carpet. And like I just see him spraying this silly string. I look at Jason. I'm just like, oh no! It's all over the floor, all over the girl's face, and like almost like in her mouth and eyes. I'm just like, oh no! It was so bad.
Oh, I remember
That's
that.
funny.
And I was like looking at you like you're
It
in
was
charge,
so
buddy.
bad. And then so like we had to clean it up, and it took like a decent
You guys were
while.
picking it out of the
picking
carpet.
all the little like pebbles of
Yeah.
like silly string.
Ugh. How about your favorite?
My
moment?
favorite would probably be LTLC when I
Mhm.
went with you guys. That was just like I feel like a staple in my religious life, and like a turning point almost, where like you're not this little kid that's like getting drug on by your parents to go to church and stuff. That week really like opened up myself to thinking and doing more like with the church.
Yeah, I remember that for you. It's like that kind of like opened up, you know, it really like opened up new doors and everything. Those are awesome. I love it. Before we get to Jenna, we are going to have a quick pause for our commercial break, aka we need a short intermission. So we are going to be going for a pause for a station recognition. All right, welcome back. We are here now, switching over to Jenna, talking about what is our best moments and some of our most disastrous moments, or yeah.
Okay, so my worst moment, it was on LTLC. All right, so we were on the airplane. Everything was going normal while I was sitting there. We're about to take off. No, we were landing. We were about to land. We were about to land. And so the stewardess people were like sitting down, like buckling up all the compartments and everything. And then we were all like just talking. And then you heard like a noise. I think it was a noise, right? And then you see this cart start to move out. But Kurrin had her head turned to like see what it was. And Jace puts his arms out and dives in front as this cart was about to smash Kurrin's like head off almost. Jace like saved the day in that moment.
This is like let me
give some backstory. Give some backstory.
When you're looking at this is the cart that you push for food, you know, that
Yeah.
thing
The
that's
food and beverage cart?
Yeah, like if you have your foot in the aisle, you know, is like and it runs it over, you're like aching in pain. They did not seal that cart in, and the what is it
The stewardess?
The stewardess was sitting with her back or
She was facing us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we could
she's-
see her expression.
Exactly. And it's coming from behind us. And so we hear it, and everybody looks back to kind of see what it is. And long story short, cart comes flying down,
Yeah.
and I just grabbed onto it, and Kurrin is looking at it, and I'm like, oh
Almost
my
got
gosh.
decapitated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the stewardess is like, you know,
she was like, I did not believe that just happened. Like
complete
she was shook.
shock. Yeah. And I was like holding on to this during landing. So when the plane is like, you know, oh my gosh.
That was scary.
That was scary.
But then when you thought it couldn't get worse that day,
of
we were
course.
driving and we parked because we were the girls. We had to we were just like getting all sweaty and stuff. So we're like, okay, let's do a quick pit stop, like change. So the boys went on the walk and like the girls were changing the car. Everything was fine. So we were waiting outside as one of us were changing, and across the street.
Keep
Across
going,
the
Jenna.
okay, across the street there was like this family, and then another car pulled up, and then they all just started yelling at each other. We're like, wait, like what's going on? What's happening? We were being nosy. So then we all were like, oh, let's like watch. Then you see like these two guys come out. They looked like they were about to fight, and Kurrin was like, get back in the car, get back in the car. And we're
Mama
like,
Kurrin.
yeah,
This was my first like chaperone moment, and I'm in Kansas.
I know.
And I'm like, oh man, this is it.
But
This
we
is
wanted
it.
to watch. We're like, Kurrin, no, we have to watch. Like, we have to find out. And Corinne's like, no, I'm going to call Jace. Get back in the car. So then, like, you guys end up showing up. But then the police shows up and gets in between, like, the two families as they're about to, like, fist fight right in front of us. And we're like, wow, Kansas has been treating us well so far.
Let me just put like a side note. So if you go on a summer retreat, this doesn't happen all the
Yeah, no.
time.
So
So
yeah, this didn't happen on my summer retreat.
So
One time
Did you-
thing.
Did you guys eat when you guys went to Kansas?
Yes.
Did you guys
of
have
course
barbecue?
No.
No, we
no.
didn't.
Yeah, no, sorry. we
Kevin
didn't have
always brings up the
barbecue.
I've
barbecue.
never-
For
The
we're not gonna say
barbecue.
why, but
God.
We didn't eat barbecue when I went, and Kansas City is I think
No.
capital of the
Yeah.
barbecue world.
Sorry.
Better luck next time. Better luck
But
next
on
time.
that, I mean, Kurrin gives me a call and she's like, there's a fight, and I'm like, who's fighting? Like,
Yeah,
the
he
team-
thinks it's between
thought it was
Jenna,
us. It was like
Carly, and Mel.
I'm
Like,
like, are you-
absolutely not.
I'm literally like running with, was it Lissandro and Neff?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, all I could tell them was, there's a fight, and they're like, oh, and so we're like running, like getting back to the car, and sure enough, everybody's just nosy and looking at what's going on across the street. But
it was
everybody,
good though. It was juicy. Whatever
everybody-
was going on.
everybody was safe. How about
Yeah,
your
no.
best moment, Jenna? What
Okay,
has
my
been your
best moment would have been
That was her best moment.
Oh.
no, last August, I went to Camp Cove Crest. It was like my last retreat as a teen, and so that was my first time ever going to Georgia. I don't really go much places often, so I was really excited to go there. No, but just
That was actually a year ago this week.
oh my
Yeah.
god, wow, it was exciting.
Gosh,
No,
She
gosh.
said.
Gosh.
Gosh.
I said, oh my gosh. No, so we went to Georgia and camp. I've never been to a summer camp before, so this camp was amazing. We did water rafting, all the mudding, and I got to like meet people across the country, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. So just being at camp, it was fun because it was my last retreat as a teen. So I was like, oh, better soak it all in before I go into the adult world. And it was just one of the most memorable like retreats I've ever had.
Yeah, camp was crazy. Like it
Mhm.
was unlike anything else.
The water
you know.
rafting.
Water rafting. I
Ooh.
mean, yeah, we would have gone this year. Obviously, Mr. COVID-19 came into the picture, and
You're gonna get demonetized.
sorry, my bad. But nevertheless, came into the picture, and so we couldn't go into Cove Crest and couldn't go into Georgia or Kansas or anything like that. But yeah, Cove Crest was awesome. I love that. So I had a couple questions, but I'm going to kind of skip on down of what was, and this is kind of from like a core member point of view, like which team do you, meaning AME, drama, environment, or fun folk, which team do you like to lead the most, and which team do you not like to, and why?
Oh my gosh.
I'll go. I think this might come as a shock, but I kind of like leading dramas.
Ooh.
Wow. He's
He's
on dramas
on-
every
on
time
dramas.
now.
No. I like AME too. Like, throw me in there. We'll do some disgusting thing. Like blend up random stuff and have someone drink it. But yeah, I really like dramas because it's more of like a I don't know how to explain it, but it's just very serious and like I feel like it's because it's a pivotal role in the retreat and it really like speaks to different people and everyone interprets it a different way. And even if like you mess up there, the teens that are in the crowd don't really know how it's supposed to be exactly. So there's a little wiggle room too, where if, like, a teen like doesn't like walk or do something right at the right time, it's okay. Like, you don't have to be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, what he's not telling you is dramas take a
Oh,
lot
a
of
long
time.
Dramas do take a long time to
Yeah.
prep and like
Cast the right people.
cast the
Oh,
right
yeah.
people.
And then you're working
and-
with teens
and
who
coming
have-
up with the dramas.
and coming up. And we try to be, for those that are other youth ministers or whatnot, we try to do new dramas every time. I mean, like, we recycle one or two and some themes and stuff, but it's like new stuff pretty much every single time. Yeah. How about you guys? What do you guys think?
Ooh.
What is your favorite or non-favorite? You can choose one or the other.
I think I have like 2 favorites, but
Okay.
like one's better than the other.
Okay, talk to me just about the best.
Oh my gosh. Okay, the best. Okay, second best dramas. I agree with Kevin in that, but the first best,
Okay.
Fun Folk.
Why?
Okay, as much as like I'm just like a very outgoing person, so Fun Folk very just fits with like my vibe. I just like planning different themes for different games because I'm very much a competitive person. So I'm like, oh, these teens want some competitiveness. Like, they want to win. So I think Fun Folk, it's much easier in the sense of planning the games because the teens also help. Like, they have amazing ideas. They, like, tell me what they want. I'm like, okay, like, we'll do it. Like, you guys are going to be the ones playing it anyways.
And then Jace says no.
Yeah, and then Jace
says,
vetoes
"Pick a
everything. You're going to have to
new."
do it all over again. No, but I think Fun Folk in the sense of that, like with AMEs and dramas, like, you don't have to plan out skits or anything or cast people. It's more just planning out the games and just, like, filming a video for the rules. So it's, like, easy in that sense.
Yeah, I like Fun Folk, and we added that new
The
flavor.
entrance.
Yeah,
I love the entrances.
Yeah. Don't tell much about it.
I
But
love them.
yeah, that was it.
Entrances.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
last.
Retreat.
Were you on this last retreat?
Yeah, I was.
Oh.
Someone
Oh,
wasn't paying attention.
okay.
I was
I
like,
remember.
I don't know how to
remember.
tell it without giving it away.
I
Yeah,
mu-
the
it must
entrances
not.
were kind of like the new what?
What?
Whatever. The entrances were kind of like the new flavor. Kurrin, what about you? What is your favorite or least favorite? You could choose.
What I'm like thinking of when you first asked what I thought of was AMEs. I enjoy AMEs the most. I think it's because I have done AMEs the most and been the most successful at it, I would say. I enjoy the way that I like structure my AMEs is situations that they're in a common day and make it funny and ridiculous. So there's a lot of different like lead ways. They don't have to be all the same. Doesn't have to be messy. Doesn't have to be like food related. There's some good humor in these teens, and it's kind like the moment when I'm laughing and I've seen it 20 times is like the best moment on retreat. And I would have to say the most rewarding moment is when David Diaz laughs.
Yeah.
That's what I
At
was
your
gonna say.
AMEs, it just like, I know I did great on that AME, like leading it,
Yeah.
that it was just that successful.
Everybody just laughs right after he laughs too.
Mhm.
Like,
His laugh is just so
It's contagious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. You know when David's on a retreat by his laugh. Yeah, AMEs are just unique. You know, every retreat is so unique with the AMEs, the dramas, and everything else. Yeah. I was going to ask a question actually pointed towards Kurrin, because she would be the one to kind of see it more so than everybody else, because she's been here the longest as a core member, as a leader. How have you seen kind of Life Teen grow over the last like 5 years? I mean, definitely, you know, it's like we've grown in many different respects, whether it be the retreats, the life nights, the core members, stuff. But how have you seen? What are some things that maybe you've seen?
I would say number one is the involvement with teens. I remember probably having a group of like maybe 20 teens, maybe it would even be 10. And at the very beginning, those were our teens to use for AMEs, dramas, teen testimonies, directors, and to have about, let's just say like 100, or we'll just say we have about like 60 teens that we can legit look at and be like, we can use all of these talents to our advantage in making a great retreat for other teens and seeing different talents that I never expected, you know, because some people are really good at speaking in public and some people surprise you. You would never have thought. And I'm like,
I'm gonna maybe put you on the spot. Do you know, is somebody like sticking out in your head of maybe that like surprised you? I know for me, like you can think while I'm even talking, like for me, the biggest thing is like testimonies. Like some people's testimonies just like, like, I don't know. I've been doing this for a little while. So it's kind of like you've heard so many different testimonies, but every year, you know, it's like these different testimonies and they just surprise you, you know, of like how they can deliver, you know. It's like they never cry with you. And then the moment they get up there, they're just like pouring out their guts. And I'm like, hey, we didn't practice that, you know. And it's like Holy Spirit just floods on in. How about you? What do you think?
I'm not thinking of like a certain teen. I just think the teen testimonies, they always bring me back to my high school. Like what I experienced in high school, I know that they're experiencing, like I experienced the same thing as they were. And I think that the way that they deliver that shows that they're just a great speaker. That would be one thing. My other, how it changed, the size of the retreats.
I know.
I mean,
we've grown. What do we have? We had 200 and something on this last couple ones or something.
Yeah.
Like we did?
Yeah, we had I want to say 210, 215 or something on. Not this last one, the one before.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there are a lot of people in my small group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't seem
yeah,
like
we
that
had they've been growing, and yeah, it's been a crazy wild ride kind of going through, and like obviously like things are changing with the times and kind of with quarantine and what's going to happen next, but it's kind of like amazing to kind of see like the life nights and all of the people that stay involved and where they've come. I mean, like Jenna and Kevin were here, you know, as a teen, and then now they're here doing the first episode of all things HTLT, you know. It's like on core and leading small groups and stuff. So it certainly, you know, has changed and grown. I wanted to kind of go and talk a little bit about like praise and worship, because we haven't really talked about praise and worship other than, you know, the you're good, you know. So what songs over the ages, over the times, what are some songs that, you know, they hit a special chord of your heart? What are some of these songs that stick out to you? And I'll go first because I love this one and I kind of want to take it off the table already. Is Land of the Rising Sun, you know, Ike. Oof, that
That's
one.
a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
The moment, it's like, that one's like the upbeat kind of like, you are going to be, the spirit is going to be moving, you know, like, so that one for me has been kind of a big one. How about you guys?
I can't think of any.
I'll go. I think the one that Kurrin was talking about, that song, what was it called again?
King of My Heart.
King of My Heart. Like that one, whenever I hear it, like it just gets me going.
It's a good one.
Like I even like, no one really knows this, but it's my pregame playlist.
Get it?
Yeah.
You're getting all the tips and tricks for
Being a
QB
elite athlete.
Nice.
But yeah, that one always just like gets me pumped up, and like no matter where I am, whether it be in the car or on the bus or on a retreat or church, it just like gets me going.
I want to hear Kevin singing it from his car.
Mine would be Holy Spirit in adoration. I think that that gets me going in adoration. Like it opens the door that I need to be opened. And then my other one is it Lion and the Lamb?
That's
Oh, yeah.
One.
That one I can listen to all different versions of it. I can listen to it like the original version, acoustically, and it just, like, I don't get bored of it. And I don't feel like it's repetitive. I just, I don't know.
Yeah, I love Lion and
yeah.
Lamb. But I have a special place for Holy Spirit too. You know, it's like the moment you start singing the Holy Spirit comes. Like it's kind of weird how that happens. You know, it's like just crazy. So I love both of those. Jenna, what about you?
I think mine is No Longer Slaves.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I just remember this moment during adoration. I forgot on which retreat. Everybody was singing the song No Longer Slaves, but like the lyrics, like you couldn't hear the actual music because everyone was shouting it so loud. And I was like, wow, like this is amazing. But the other one, kind of a slow one, kind of a new one, Tremble by Mosaic. Yeah. That's like my song. I don't know why. It gets me going in the car by myself. Just like
it starts off slow and then it kind of picks up. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. With No Longer Slaves, I know like when it goes, you split the sea so wide. Yes. You know, and like I think it was Lacey that sent me a meme when it's like Drake like going like crazy at a basketball game or something. I was like, that's totally everybody like you split the sea. You know, everybody just gets so into it.
I have another song. I think it's called Rescue
by Lauren Daigle.
Yes, we used it for a drama.
By Lauren. That one's a good one.
So good.
She is good. Yeah, Lauren Daigle just her songs are like fire because she like speaks from the heart, and that's the thing too is like these songs that are like just speaking from the heart, like a song that we didn't say but that like has recently is So Will I, like So Will I.
I love that one.
Like that one just like recently even really has good. Just like blown up and just such a good one, you know. But yeah, I wanted to turn to a little bit of like telling if you could go back like to your freshman self, what would you tell them? Kind of faith related. What would you tell them? Because you can say like invest in Amazon. Yeah, we're gonna be like, what is faith related?
Invest in SpaceX.
Exactly.
And Tesla.
And no, I'm not gonna say anything with quarantine related. Okay, go ahead.
Faith related.
Faith related. Like, what would you tell your freshman self?
I would say, because I never had like a life team that I was involved in, to be like with the circumstances the same way that it was, I would say to be more open in talking about your faith with people of your peers. I think we went to Catholic school, but we never talked about the struggles that we had with the relationship of building a relationship with Christ, or to understanding what it is to actually go to Mass and to understand what's going on. So I think either finding people that had that same, want to have those conversations, or just you being the one to have those conversations and being like, this is what's important to me, and I want to either it's important to you, or you want to learn more about it, or you want it to be important to you, and that's going to be your kind of life change. So I think that would be, because it's so hard freshman year, and high school is just so hard that I think it's easier when you find somebody, it could just be one person, to understand that like faith is important to me, and not just like going through the motions of faith, but actually having a relationship.
I think it's the vulnerability, you know, it's like being vulnerable enough with that person, you know, is like you're saying, and vulnerability builds trust, you know, it's like being vulnerable, honest, and both, and that being like reciprocated back and forth with that person. It's not just like one person talking and then the other just listening, but like having that, you know, back and forth. And then you have that experience, especially if it's with, you know, in the program, like it doesn't have to be, but it helps because then they go through, you know, what you're going through. They see it, they can pray with you with, you know, and stuff. That's a good one. Yeah. Have you guys tips for your former freshman self?
I think to just not be afraid of what your friends are going to say about you, because I feel like that was like a big thing for me, was just like your public figure, like to like your peers. And I was always be like, no, like I can't do that because like I don't, like my friends won't like think I'm like cool, or they'll be like, oh, why do you, like they've done it before, like, oh, why do you do that? Like you don't need to do that. It's not mandatory. And like I feel like just don't worry about that. Like if they're truly your friends, they'll accept what you like to do, and just do everything that Jace offers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, though.
Everything.
Yeah. Because you build like these connections. Like, I didn't think I'd be sitting here in college on a
Yeah. Here you are.
podcast on a podcast with people that are my friends now. And like even people that like still aren't like, they're not core members, but I'm still connected with them through the Life Teen program. And I think that's just like you make friends, and like friends that you probably wouldn't have even been friends with if you didn't come to Life Teen.
And I think, and that goes, like I said, the vulnerability. Like here in Life Teen is like we try to remove all that fakeness, you know, of you trying to be, you know. And I pry into people's lives. Like I ask the hard questions of, well, why, you know. It's like because I want the root, you know, answer, and that's it. Is like not being what everybody else, you know, not keeping up with the Joneses, not, you know, trying to be something that you're not, just your authentic self. And yeah, you've certainly shown that, Kevin, like being around, and
Thank you.
and like certainly like giving to me, I know, is like, and holding me accountable, and even going on LTLC and seeing you grow, you know, it's like, and seeing the leader kind of over time, not only in sports and stuff, but here. So
Thank
yeah.
you. I feel like you didn't think I was gonna go to LTLC, did you?
Absolutely not. I think I asked you.
You asked me the year before, and I said no.
Yeah. I did not think you. I think I had a backup person. I don't want to say who it is, but I think I had a backup person thinking you wouldn't go, and you said yes right away too.
Yeah.
Like that was surprising. I was like, okay. I think I was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because I started realizing like you got to do it. Like
Yeah.
you can't worry about what other people are gonna say. And yeah, when I got back from it, people were saying stuff because I missed a week of football. But oh well,
Yeah. That's awesome.
trying to get to heaven.
Hey, more important
Right?
things in life. Jenna.
I think mine's kind of piggybacking off of Kevin, but in a different way. Like freshman year, I was like, oh my gosh, like being Catholic's so not cool. Like it's not the cool thing to do. I was like, why am I gonna go to church? Like it's not the cool thing. Like praying at lunch, no, not cool. So I think just telling my freshman self, like, what are you thinking? First of all, like it is cool, and then second of all, like why do you care so much about like what my like friends were thinking at the time? I had friends back then that influenced me in so many different ways that weren't good, and I just let them like dictate and control my life, so to speak, where I was a follower. Like I wasn't a leader, I was a follower at the time. So I think just telling myself like, yo, go to Life Teen, make some true friends, like get a hold of your faith, like become best friends with Jesus. Like everything is gonna find a way to work itself out in the end, like in the long run. So I think just realizing like being Catholic is like, it's cool. It's cool at the end of the day.
I do not pay them to say this either. This is genuine. Yeah, I think that's an important thing too, is like what you find in Life Teen is not necessarily like, you find a family, you know, and if you're open to it, and the thing is like we try our very, very best as core members to not have anybody fall through the cracks. You know, it's like we talk about it all the time during core meetings, and kind of reaching out to like certain teens and stuff like that. But it does have to be, you know, we can go over the wall and we can reach down and reach our hands down to them to pick them up. But they have to, you know, reach out and grab our hands too. So it's about that too. And, you know, like I'm proud of, you know, you guys, I'm proud of all of our core and kind of where we've come from and where we're going. I mean, like here we are on our very first episode of podcasting, you know, for all things HTLT, and in the Life Teen room that still hasn't been decorated. Sorry, everybody. But we're
trying.
We're trying. But we're growing, you know. It's like we're searching out teens and leading teens closer to Christ to the best that we can possibly do in the circumstances that we're given. I think that's just like a powerful kind of thing to kind of take hold of. I'm going to ask a couple more questions. So if you could give a tip to someone listening, so not a freshman former self or anything like that, but maybe somebody that's listening that might be in quarantine, that might be not going to school next year physically, you know, what's a faith related tip or something that you might be able to give them?
About them not going, like they're not going to be going to school next year.
Anything.
Anything?
Yeah.
Anything.
Tip.
Okay. I have one. A faith-related tip would be to, well, it kind of all falls together in one piece, so just hear me out. Limit your time on social media first, and then download like the Bible app on your phone. Because I know for me, every morning I get the notification like, oh, view your daily Bible verse. And once I view it, it leads to a good segment into praying and like journaling for the day. So I think, but first and foremost, limit your time on social media. Social media has become just this huge thing, and I know becomes overwhelming for a lot of people at times, and it could very much harm our faith life. So just either limit your time on social media and download the Bible app, and follow Catholic, like faith-related Instagrams, like whether it be like Jesus loves you first or he loves you first.
Life
like,
Teen underscore HTLT.
or Life Teen underscore HTLT. That's a good
HT,
one.
sorry, not
Oh,
ALT.
HT. Or just like do as much as you can to fill your day-to-day life with your faith, and you'll see much more joy and like more little blessings pop up.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thanks.
All right. I have like this quote that I saw, like I think it was a week ago, and I don't know why, but like I just wrote it down just because I thought it was really cool, and I don't know what you guys are going through, but this might help at least one of you guys. And it said, "God removes people from your life because he heard a conversation that you didn't."
I've heard that one.
I have not heard that one.
That one's a good one.
And like that, just like I saw that, and yes, it was on TikTok, and I was just like,
43 days left.
Wow. Like I was like, that's deep. I was like, I need to write this down, because we all, like, in all of our lives, we have people that come in and out, and like sometimes we like think, oh, why did they leave our life, and why are like some people, like, you always think that, like, what happened, and we don't know what happened some of the times, and that's just like, I don't know, that like I saw that quote and I was like, dang, that really like
That is a
stuck
good
with
one.
me.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's a really good one. Kurrin, you got anything good? You want to give any tips out there?
I would say this goes for spiritual life and non-spiritual life, just regular life, I guess, is what I've been doing is trying new things. And really, you have this weird time of not having, you have school, but you can plan to try different things. And so I've been trying like tennis, I've been trying rollerblading, I've, worked out different types of ways, and that's more just physically, but spiritually is the same way. If you're not a good journal writer, I guess, or you don't really listen to praise and worship or silent prayer, trying different things and like giving it a week, giving it 2 weeks, and really, really trying and like devoting time towards it. This is the perfect opportunity to. You're at home. You really don't have that much distractions. You have school, but school hasn't really started yet. But you have that time that nowhere in history we've had this time.
Yeah.
And so use it to your advantage. Try different things. Listen to different podcasts that might, Mark Hart, or the one that you posted on your Instagram.
It was Happy and Healthy. It's a good one.
Healthy.
Yeah, she's like this fitness, but she's
Christian
too. So it's a good mix of something.
Yeah.
Just like trying different things.
So surrounding yourself around things like that too. That uplift.
Like self-growth.
Yeah.
In a time that it feels so like lull, like self-growth, but also forgiving yourself for not, like, if it doesn't work out, it's okay. Because I feel like so many times we're sitting there and we're like, well, four months of quarantine just went by. What did I do? And it's like, you are going through something so unique right now. Forgive yourself for not knowing what to do. Forgive your parents for not knowing what they're supposed to tell you to do, because they're going through the same thing, But if you notice yourself on TikTok for 4 hours, maybe only 3 hours the next day.
Or 12
maybe,
hours.
You know,
Or delete it 'cause I see everything.
But I mean, you switch. You can switch that 1 hour to do something different, and maybe that will open your eye to something new.
Yeah, I think that's, it's like something I think that I've seen going along the same lines is like time, like where we spend our time, is like, because now we've kind of gotten in, I would kind of think like a routine of this weirdness.
Not doing anything.
Yeah. It's like, what do we, what's coming up next?
Like at the beginning, everyone was so gung-ho about like, oh, I'm going to do this, and we're doing it. And then once it got longer and longer, everyone just, for me, example, like I wanted to do all this stuff. And then I just got lazy. And
yeah, you even asked to borrow my guitar because you wanted to learn to play guitar. I was like, all right, lady killer.
And then never borrowed it.
I know, it's still here. But yeah, it's like being able to kind of like use that time wisely too. It's like, how are you using that time? And I think for me, the tip that I would kind of give is like making sure that you don't let this moment pass you by. It's like what everybody's kind of saying is this is something that hasn't happened in a long time. I mean, I don't know when the last time, obviously everything was at a standstill, but it's kind of like this is an opportunity for you to really not let this time pass you by. We live in a world and a society that's so, rushing forward and going on to the next thing and trying to be successful, is like that word success, is trying to accomplish so many different things. So using this time for yourself, is like growing in that sense. Switching back to like this podcast and switching back to youth ministry, we are going to be doing a lot more podcasts. We are going to be doing a lot more videos and stuff. So what is kind of something that your hope is within kind of the realm of this podcast or videos or things along those lines?
Oh, like us, our goals?
Yeah, your goals.
Okay. I'm going to say that I hope... Is it my goal or the podcast like goal?
Take it however you
I'm
want.
going to say the podcast and the videos and like me working through it is to help people like not feel alone. And I think that's why I always, that's my mission for working with Life Teen. That's always been my mission, to see a teen and know that I went through what they've been through or could help them better their situation and not feel alone. And so, like, I hope you're sitting around just like we're sitting around and feeling a part of our conversation and not feeling like that loneliness that sometimes creeps in. So that's my goal.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, yeah, that's a really good one. I'm not even going to add anything to it. How about you guys?
I think a goal, this is just I listen to podcasts. I know Jace does. I don't know about you guys, but I listen to them all throughout the day. Just like we're not doing much, so I just sit and listen to them. Or like when I'm working out, I'll listen to them. And I hope that you guys I hope everyone listens to it because there's not much else we can do. But I really like podcasts, and they really like this one especially will reach out to you guys and touch you and tell you that everything is basically going to be okay, and that God always has a plan for you.
Yeah, I think it's powerful too. Is like to know is like this is primarily for HTLT family. It's like we're not podcasting.
We're not random people.
Yeah,
we've all met each other.
Yeah, and we're not. And even if you're new, you're welcome and join us, on this journey. But it's kind of like we're not talking to Joe Schmo in Idaho. Sorry, Carly, I had to throw an Idaho joke in there. But it's like we're not talking to we're talking to San Pedro. We're talking to you guys, HTLT, and reaching out to you guys in whatever way that we can, and know that we're here. It's like we want to bring a little bit of Life Teen into your rooms. We want to bring a little bit of Life Teen into your phones, into your communities, into your family. It's like that's what we're here for, and it's not necessarily all going to be Bible studies and stuff like this, but it's going to be like getting to know us, as well as us wanting to get to know you and where you're at and how we can kind of grow with you, and maybe things that you want to hear and stuff. You can put in the comment section, or you can
down
just
below.
tell me down below. How about you, Jenna?
I think a goal like for the podcast and like for us in general here is to make you feel like is to be like a happy like spot in your day. Like it's like, oh, like the new podcast is out, like I get to listen to them talk. Like even if like you guys are at home and like listening to us, it's like I hope you guys feel like you guys belong here. Like you're at the coffee table with us talking about whatever's going on, and that's like, oh, like this was a good thing in my day. Like this was my rose of the day. Like listening to them talk, making just like a little blessing out of the day from our podcast.
I like it.
Yep, I like it.
So our video actually cut out, but it's gonna be okay. We will just keep trekking forward. The thing is, we wanted to kind of like give you this opportunity too, is like to share with us maybe something that you guys want to hear more of from us. And yeah, so we have a lot kind of coming your way, so be on the lookout for all of that. I wanted to first and foremost thank all of the casters here, Jenna, Kevin, and Kurrin.
You're welcome.
For being here. So you guys, thank you for being here on the first episode. You'll be on many more to come. In our next couple episodes, we're going to be doing some senior highlights, some funny debates, and much, much more with many more new personalities. Maybe we can get Father Tim out here or something like that. I'll have to contact a couple other people and all that. So subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our podcast to get some more information. Until next time, God is good.
All the time.
All the time.
God is good.
We will see you guys soon.